There's a moment in the year where the earth exhales deeply and the days grow short. In this stillness, the sun reaches its furthest distance from us, pausing before beginning its slow return. This moment is known as the Winter Solstice. The precise point in our planetary orbit where the Southern Hemisphere is tilted furthest away from the sun, marking the shortest day and the longest night of the entire solar year, and the beginning of the sun's journey of return. So from this day forward, the light slowly grows again, second by second. During the June solstice here in the Southern Hemisphere, we are tilted away, furthest away, so the sun appears lowest in the sky, casting longer shadows and giving us longer nights. The word solstice comes from the Latin word sol, meaning sun, and sistere, meaning to stand still. And if you pay attention, that's exactly what it feels like. Because for a moment, the sun stops its descent and slowly begins to rise again. And this moment of cosmic pause invites us to do the same, to slow down, to reflect, and to honor the silence before the return of light. It's the seed of renewal. And even though the solstice is a cosmic event, its effects are also felt like right here in our bodies, in our bones, in the way we breathe, the way we move through winter. The same stillness that we observe in nature, in the trees, in the soil, it's all mirrored within the cycles within us. During winter, especially around the solstice, our bodies begin to respond to the longer nights and the reduced sunlight. With less sunlight, our brains produce more melatonin, the hormone that governs sleep. This is why we'll often feel more tired, slow, and even more introverted during winter. And at the same time, our serotonin decreases. Serotonin is our feel-good neurotransmitter, right? And that then causes a shift in our moods. Also, our internal clock, our circadian rhythm, it becomes slowly disoriented because of the change in our light patterns. Longer nights can make us feel generally less motivated. And this isn't a negative thing. It's not a flaw. This is nature's way of reminding us to slow down. It's a nudge to restore. Because in nature, this is a time of dormancy. The trees literally pull their energy inward. They've become very selective with the amount of energy that they release because they're preserving their life force. A lot of animals will go into hibernation. A lot of plants completely stop growing to preserve their own energy. Winter is not lifeless. It's internal, it's inward. It's about shifting your direction from exertion to inertia. Because everything in nature at this point is preparing for the coming season of renewal. And as much as we as human beings like to separate ourselves from the cycle of nature and Earth's functionality, we're really not any different from this rhythm. We're not separate from it. The winter solstice is the night of the solar year. It's a time of gestation, not productivity. And I'm not fighting those who want to be productive in this time and who need to be, because life must keep going, life must keep moving. But really try to find pockets of rest and try to do that for yourself more than you do in the other seasons. You'll get so much out of it. Just taking time for yourself, to be alone, to be quiet, to be still, to be calm, and to just listen. This is the time to dream, to contemplate, to quietly plan for your reawakening. It's not laziness. It is wisdom. Just like a seed. A seed must be buried in the darkness of the soil before it can sprout. Our ideas, our visions, and our healing work the exact same way. They need time in the womb of winter. So it's okay if you're feeling tired or a bit heavy or maybe slightly less driven in this time. Don't fight it. Try to honor it. Drink warm tea, keep warm, sleep a little bit longer when you can. Journal your dreams. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to journal our dreams. I know I sound a bit like a broken record. I say it all the time. Even if it's just in your notes app in your phone. Really, whatever way you can find some rest and whatever little pockets of time that you have, slow your breath. Because in the stillness of winter, life is quietly preparing to bloom again. So throughout all of history, I'm moving around a lot, I know, I'm sorry. So throughout history, right, since time immemorial, people have always looked to the sky for meaning, for answers, for direction. The winter solstice and the summer solstice were honored by philosophers, priests, astronomers, farmers, healers, all sorts of everybody. If you Google, you'll find tons of historical commemorations and celebrations of the winter solstice and the solstices in general and the equinoxes. But the winter solstice in particular it was a moment of cosmic significance, particularly because of its meaning. Indigenous cultures everywhere understood that light returns only through the darkness. Things have to die in order to be reborn. And the winter solstice is a symbolic death, not of the body, but the spirit. The solstice is the midnight of the year. It is the deepest night in the Earth's cycle, the longest night, a time where everything retreats so that it can be reformed. And this work that the Earth is doing at this time is our compass. It's what we are being led to do in that time as well, to go within, to listen, to be still. Solstice energy is the energy of inner alchemy, the kind of alchemy that happens in the dark before the dawn. The winter period itself is a cocoon, and it's a very simple practice. Honoring the winter solstice is very uncomplicated. It requires the least from you, honestly. All we really need to do is allow ourselves to slow down. If you're with family, gather around the fire, light a candle. I also did a video 3 years ago, where I spoke about the alchemy of winter. I spoke about the duat, the ancient Egyptian science behind winter, their beliefs and the festivals and ceremonies that they did and the rituals that they did in this time. So do feel free to check it out. I don't want to be too repetitive. One thing that I have found recently, a practice that is changing my life, is breath work. Last month I spent the whole month in the mountains of Meisner doing yoga teacher training. I learned a lot of things, but most importantly, I learned the art of stillness. And what I've found most profound for myself in my own practice after coming home and really just connecting with Moya through this practice of like breath work and movement is that breath really mirrors nature, right? It's not a different thing. It's not separate from nature. It is nature. It mirrors the expansion and contraction that we see all around us in nature, in the oceans, the moon cycles. Even if you take like plant medicine like ayahuasca or psilocybin, one of the first things you realize is the constant expansion and contraction in everything. Everything is constantly breathing, not just the tides of the oceans, but even the waves. The ocean is constantly breathing. And it's become a bit of an obsession for me, how the cycle of nature and the cycle of the sun is mirrored in the way that we breathe, and the power in acknowledging and harnessing it consciously. The earth begins its inhale during the spring equinox, awakening, emerging, and then during the summer solstice is the peak of its inhale, like when our lungs are full. This is when the sun is at its highest point. It's the longest day of the year. And then the exhale begins during the autumn equinox, when the earth is letting go. And that exhale goes all the way through to the winter solstice, when our lungs are completely empty. This is the moment of surrender, of stillness. And this exists in everything around us. And the more we take the time to consciously harness this energy, the clearer everything becomes. No one meditates. You focus in order to reach a state of meditation. Meditation is more of a state of mind than an action. Winter is especially a gift from the architects of nature to find that stillness. It's an opportunity to come back to yourself. Winter teaches us to return to breath, not as a performance, but as a ritual of rest. Our focus in this time should really place emphasis on the exhale. This kind of practice is amazing for parasympathetic nervous system activation. The parasympathetic nervous system is the body's rest and digest state. Exhaling for longer brings calmness to the body. It brings clarity to the mind. It's grounding. And the body is then able to sync with the slow pace of winter. My invitation to you is to know that there really is nothing that you need to do in this time but to be present, to breathe. The winter solstice isn't a superstition. It's a rhythm that reminds us that stillness is preparation. It's sacred. It's the time to give ourselves permission to rest and dream. The slowness in this time and what feels maybe frustratingly slow is where the most powerful transformation begins. It's the womb of becoming. We've spoken on Instagram about our Saturday sessions, and we've agreed that we're going to do yoga on Saturdays, and I am so excited to practice with you guys. I'm not starting the Saturday because the winter solstice really is about isolation, so I really just want to take this day to do my own thing and my own flow and my own breath work and my own journaling and whatever it is that I'm going to be doing. And I'm wishing for you your own time alone. I really hope that you get to rest today. We start next Saturday, which is perfect timing because it's the first new moon after the winter solstice. So let's keep in touch. I'm going to be sharing more updates on my Instagram. Lots of love, lots of light. Happy resting.